Hello everybody, welcome back to Hondos HoloNet, a podcast where we talk all things movies, television, games, all types of pop culture media. So I'm your host Vincent, and let's get into the show. So we're at episode 10 with just straight episodes without counting the movie and TV show reviews or the shorts. We hit episode 10, and I'm so happy to be back. If you could ask any one of my friends, I've been talking about how I can't wait to record and I can't wait to get back into the flow with things because I really love doing this. If you saw my last video, you know there's going to be a few changes in the quality and everything. The background, the studio itself is almost done being fully. There's a few mess here and there, but it's looking to be great. So I want to get into today's topic. So it's coming out a little late. I've had a rough week at school. And there's only going to be 3 topics instead of the normal 4 that's going to go forward. But just for today, starting Sunday and going forward, there's almost always going to be 4 topics. And so let's start off with the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. So earlier last week, the teaser trailer, released. And there was a lot of really great stuff in the trailer. So if you don't know me, I've always been a huge Star Wars fan. Star Wars has always been my favorite. And back in 2019, let's say, The Mandalorian came out. And I didn't watch it then. I started it and I just never finished it. When the whole season came out, finally watched it. For a long time, I was into Marvel and DC because that's when the Arrowverse was strong and Endgame and all of that was coming out. So The Mandalorian, when that came out and I watched it on Disney Plus a little before COVID, it got me back into Star Wars. That May 4th might have been the greatest May 4th ever of 2020 because, I had my little Grogu, I had my Captain Rex helmet that I don't have here with me, but I had so many things just sitting next to me during class. My math teacher, we would talk about the Clone Wars every day during class. So it was Mandalorian really got me back into Star Wars to where I wanted and made me the Star Wars fan I am today. So overall thoughts, I love the trailer. There was so many things good about it. I'll talk about all the highlights, which just blew my mind. But just the trailer itself, it looks like a season 4, but it's good. I liked all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, specifically the first 2, as everybody, I think without a doubt, has liked the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. But for some reason, people think that this looking like a season 4 is a bad thing. I think that The Mandalorian will really enhance the future of Star Wars, especially getting a theatrical release. Because everybody loves The Mandalorian. The seasons, the show was just phenomenal. So this looking like a season 4, but upgraded into a more cinematic version of The Mandalorian is awesome, I think. So here's some highlights. Zeb. I know it's going to be like a cameo. I mean, he's going to be important to the film. You could tell just from the teaser. I always loved Zeb. I loved Rebels. And we're seeing a lot of the Rebel stuff happen in Ahsoka. So seeing the Zeb stuff happen, because he wasn't in Ahsoka and around with the rest of the Rebels, seeing this now, his part after Rebels happened, where he went, is going to be really interesting. And I'm excited to see. We saw a little clip of him, a real, what we would call a cameo, in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. The next, and these I'll bunch up into one, the cinematography, which it's beautiful, and the VFX and CGI work just all around. I mean, the visuals of this, the shots just are beautiful. The new Razor Crest flying over the almost Scarif-looking beach is just, it's like pleasing to look at. It feels like The Force Awakens, when The Force Awakens did that opening shot of Rey sliding down, or one of the opening shots of Rey sliding down that dune outside of the Fallen Star Destroyer. I mean, there's just so much of these shots to like. The scene of, sorry, I'm blanking. The scene of of Zeb here, we'll go back to Zeb, of him kicking off the wall and swiping at the stormtroopers. I mean, it feels like Star Wars. Truly, like Star Wars is back. I see the inspiration, like I said, from The Force Awakens and from Rogue One, specifically Scarif. Just all of the ideas that they had in those coming out and being put into this new Mando and Grogu movie. I'm loving it. I think, like I said, it really looks just beautiful overall. The other things that I liked were the little Easter eggs here and there. I mean, the little clip of the alien that was originally in, I think, Return of the Jedi, which doesn't need to be put in and doesn't really matter much to the story. I see people complaining, oh, does every alien have to come back? No, but so what? It's just, it's another species. It's there. So I'm loving this trailer, this teaser. The only thing, and you can't complain, it is just a teaser trailer, is that we didn't get too much into the story. But we still got little less than a year. I mean, it comes out in May, so we have time to get more trailers. So I'm really stoked for the rest of it, to see these trailers, to see what's to come in the future for The Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't know. I just, all these little the clips here and there of the scene where, I can't think of his name, Rada, the hut, where the hut, and he's there and he's just like, yeah, and you see it reminds me of the pod race. Like they took so much inspiration from past Star Wars movies and put it in this, and all stuff that made the Star Wars movies really, really good. And I mean, Mandalorian and Grogu back together to just mess some shit up is awesome. I mean, I love it. I cannot wait. So we'll keep an eye out for the trailer. I know we got some time, but I cannot wait to see what the story's gonna be like. And it has Sigourney Weaver, so that's just another thing that I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. Now, I know I was touching a little bit on it about people being nervous for the future because maybe it feels too much like a season 4. There's a few things I have to say. One, people do it in all fandoms with everything. We didn't ask for this project, or we don't want this, or why are we even getting this? Why should I waste my time? If you're a fan, truly, you are more than allowed to call out things that are bad, things that are not as strong, things that are boring. I do it all the time with Marvel, Ironheart, What Ifs, just a bunch of everything. I used to do it with DC a lot. So far I haven't had to. But like, you could call out when things are wrong. But the whole who wanted this argument, I'm not a fan of most of the time because it's content. I don't like to complain getting content, whether it is good or bad. Somebody out there likes it, and it worked for them, and that's great, and I just want to see content. Now, the Acolyte is something that I've don't like at all, and I've made it clear, maybe not on the podcast, but to a lot of people, that I don't like the Acolyte. But the Acolyte, when it was being announced, I was excited for it, because it could have been so many things. So to me, it's always been, because Miss Marvel did this to me, I was like, this is going to suck. That Miss Marvel's a project that completely changed my mindset. I was like, this is going to suck. This is going to be awful. And then I watched Miss Marvel, and it's top 5 or 6 MCU TV show, which there aren't that many, but you know what I mean. So I don't judge until after something comes out. When it comes out and I watch through it, I decide then if I like it or if I don't like it. But being nervous because this looks like a season 4. If you liked all the other seasons, why is it a problem if it's a season 4? But again, that's just, I wanted to touch a little bit on that so everybody knows how I feel when it comes to that kind of argument. Because again, I like everything until I see it. That's unless the trailer is really awful. Let's stay stoked for this. I mean, it comes out in May. If it comes out and it's a super disappointment, that's okay. And we could say it. And we could call it out for being bad. And call it out for, let's say, there's a problem with the writing. Or a problem with the direction. Like, we could sit there and we could call it out. But let's at least wait till it comes out. I mean, the trailer looks awesome. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Mandalorian and Grogu's teaser. Please let me know what you think. I mean, go to the comments and just, if you absolutely hated it and completely disagree with me, please let me know, because I want to hear. And sometimes I'll probably go through them and I'll make shorts and I'll talk about it because I want to hear what everybody thinks. So yeah, so that's my Mandalorian and Grogu. Like I said, drop your thoughts down and let me know. All right, we got that out of the way. Let's move on to this. Man of Tomorrow. We've had so many teases, little snippets here and there, not about obviously actual footage, but just about the future of Superman. So I have a few somewhat predictions, which when a little more comes out about it, if more comes out about it, I'm going to make a whole video on my predictions. But I want to talk a little bit about the tease that we got earlier this week or last week. Excuse me, and how we feel overall. Okay, so the first thing that came out is James Gunn said that it's going to be a little less comic booky. And a lot of people are saying that that's why they like Superman. That is not the reason I like Superman. Superman, I mean, since it's come out on HBO Max, a week and 3 days, I've seen it 13, 14 times maybe. I've seen it a lot, and I'm going to watch it again after this. But comic booky, it being comic booky was a really strong part about the movie. But I think people are taking it very literal. When he says that it's less comic booky, I don't think that it's necessarily fully based on a comic book or a couple of comic books like Superman 2025 was. I think that it's still going to have the color and the pop and the whole personalities of each, but I think it's going to be toned to its own story. So if it is a little bit of a darker Superman, it's not going to be the actual color. It's not going to be his personality. It's going to be the outlying factors in the story that's told. That's just what I think. I can't confirm anything until we get more information. But James Gunn, since the Suicide Squad, because the Suicide Squad wasn't a real comic booky movie, if you recall it at all. The Suicide Squad looked comic book, but didn't feel comic book. But it was still, excuse me, it was still awesome. So I'm looking at Man of Tomorrow almost the same way. So in Man of Tomorrow, we know that it's Lex and Superman are teaming up. We got all the concept art, the 3 different artists, and I'm gonna put their names in the description because I can't think of the artists. But we got the three different pieces of art of Lex and Superman together, and Lex is in his power suit. So yes, I do think we're gonna see this power suit in the movie. But people are wondering, oh, who are they actually going to go against? And earlier, like I said earlier this last week, James Gunn posted a photo of the script, and the script had a picture of the anatomy of a human head, focusing on the brain. So, I mean, Brainiac right now seems like the most likely villain. Gunn recently, a lot, with a couple of different Batman things, just today alone with a couple, is you're going to have to wait and see. And he could tease Brainiac, and Brainiac could show up in the last 5 minutes and kind of be set up for the future, for a Justice League movie. Not that it's going to happen, but let's just say for a Justice League movie, right? Excuse me. So, us seeing that Brainiac could very much be in it, but it might not be. I personally think it is Brainiac. I think Brainiac's the villain. I think it makes the most sense that Lex and Superman have to team up to fight this villain from outer space who's technologically advanced to the point where he even outranks Lex Luthor in tech. I mean, Lex Luthor, we saw in the first one, created the Hammer of Baravia, and he had the exact the 1A, which was the fighting sequence for Ultraman's actual, to control what Ultraman does in a fight, because he studies Superman, he knows what's going to happen. So, I mean, this guy is going to come in, and who better to help Superman, truly, than Lex? And obviously it's not Batman, because you can be like, oh, Batman, oh, the Flash, oh, Cyborg. Like, no. We're gonna keep it realistic. Yes, Lex is the best option to help Superman. Because remember, Lex is a horrible human, a villain, like, but he thinks that he's doing good to help humanity. And if stopping Brainiac is, like, if Brainiac's going to cause a end of the world scenario, Lex Luthor most likely will do a lot, at least in this universe and in a couple different, just to help humanity. So yeah, I think Lex and Supes are going to team up to fight Brainiac. By the way, I started my Superman collection when the movie came out, but it's been growing and I'm getting a lot more stuff. I want this whole thing to be almost Superman filled. Completely off topic, but James Gunn really opened. You guys know Flash was my favorite superhero. It's Superman now. I love Superman, but that thanks to James Gunn. Anyways, to move on, what we heard is the Peacemaker finale is going to have really big impact on the future of, one, the DCU as a whole, but specifically Man of Tomorrow. Now, I don't know, because I don't know the Man of Tomorrow, the Peacemaker finale, what happens. I don't know what happens in episode 7 that comes out this week. I don't have really any idea, besides they just found out they're on Earth X. We'll get a full Peacemaker season review when it finishes, but we know that the finale will have a big impact on the future. So does that mean Peacemaker is going to be involved in the movie? Does that mean maybe Vigilante is going to be involved in the movie? There's a lot of little pieces here and there that, are very interesting when it comes to what Man of Tomorrow is going to look like, because it isn't a Superman movie anymore. It's a Superman and a Lex movie, which James Gunn made very clear. It's almost kind of a Superman sequel, but it's not a Superman movie. And he said that a lot. So that makes me wonder, is it not like how the Justice Gang was in Superman, but are these specific characters like Peacemaker, like Lex, like Superman, like maybe Supergirl? We have to see that movie too. But are they going to play a really important role where it's more of a team movie, specifically Superman and Lex, and not just Superman and the Justice Gang? We'll see. I'm really excited. I'm weighted. I'm seated. I'm so ready to see Man of Tomorrow. Like I said, Superman has been my most watched movie. I have the playlist on over and over. And really, James Gunn, I think, is a master director and just a master at everything he does when it comes to the visuals, when it comes to the direction, when it comes to storytelling. I haven't seen a James Gunn movie that I disliked. And there are so many working parts between the editors and the sound editors and the cinematographers. And I think James Gunn builds a team that's so fantastic. So yeah, James Gunn's my favorite director, if you couldn't tell. But I can't wait for Man of Tomorrow and every single one of his DCU projects and every single DC project as a whole. We got a lot of set images for Clayface. We got Supergirl coming out in June. There's just so much to be excited for, and I think Man of Tomorrow is going to be the next almost big event for the DC Universe. Peacemaker showing up on Earth X was a big one. Superman 2025 was a big one. I think Man of Tomorrow is really the next big event. So yeah, guys, again, let me know what you think. Like I said, I cannot wait for this, and I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. So yeah, cool, let's move on. Alright, so possibly the biggest news of the last week comes from PlayStation, comes from gaming actually. We finally got a trailer to the Wolverine game. Insomniac's Wolverine PS5. Now, this Wolverine game was announced, I don't even remember how long ago. It was a few years now. And people were sitting, waiting, like, when are we getting anything? Little bits of footage, little bits of story, gameplay, just something that we could understand. And last week, about Wednesday or Thursday, we finally got a gameplay trailer and a release for 2026. So, wow, okay. I'm a huge Spider-Man PS4 game fan, especially the first one. I haven't played the second one, and I haven't finished Miles Morales. I've owned Miles Morales. I played everything but the last mission, but then I stopped playing, and now I want to restart. And I restarted Spider-Man, and that was a while ago, so I'm going to have to restart it again. But I'm a big Spider-Man in general, yes, but the PS5, the Insomniac games, I'm a huge fan. I think Insomniac really knows how to tell stories when it comes to gaming, almost as much as Naughty Dog with The Last of Us, but we'll get to that another time. So this trailer, let me just go through my thoughts. I have thoughts / reactions on 4 major things. The gameplay, right? Specifically the action, but the gameplay in general. A lot of people are like, oh, well, it's going to be not harder to move, but it's just going to take more time because, you're walking instead of swinging. And, in the Marvel Universe, like, flying and swinging and quick transportation is a lot, is major in it. I could just tell this game is going to be so fast-paced in story, in movement, in everything, and I'm excited for that. But the action, just Wolverine going through it, and I'll tie this into another one, the gore. I mean, Wolverine, he's like, I'd like to say I'm not a violent man, and that this violence and this stuff just finds me, but that's not true. Wolverine is just a violent hero, and you see him and he takes his claws and he shoves them through and he rips people up. I mean, that one scene where he put the claws through and then he ripped them open slowly. Like, wow. Like, Spider-Man was great and all, but who knows, like, what step this is going to and how awesome it is. There was a scene where he took the claw and he swiped the guy's leg off. And it's a mix between blood and electricity because, these guys are wearing robotic suits. So when like you see it all, and it's so like particular with each little scene that happens. And I loved it. Okay. The story. This is another one. I mean, I went a little into it where he says, I wish I could say I'm not a violent man. And you could tell that this is an aged Wolverine. He has the suit, which looks awesome. The yellow, the whatever suit, the original 97 suit, whatever. He has the suit, and it looks badass. And he is, like I said, he's an aged Wolverine, so he's experienced enough to be doing a lot of this stuff. And at least to be good at it, to be good at the superhero thing that he does. So, again, this is more of a gameplay trailer, not a real story trailer. Kind of like Mandalorian and Grogu was just a teaser. It's the same thing, almost. But we got a little more. We actually got words and stuff. And it's just like, not old man Logan, old and seasoned, but not just got out of the tank, new Wolverine. It's that happy medium of, let's see, what's a good... I wouldn't even say it's Logan yet. It's not Logan. It's Days of Future Past. It's that type of Wolverine where he's been doing this for a while and he's really good at it. And he's just good at going through and ripping bad guys up and slicing their heads off. Like, it's crazy. There's not much I could say on it really. Like, I'm trying to form the words and even right here I have some things kind of typed out and I'm trying to express how this is going to be a video game Logan style, if that makes any sense. It's going to be a Logan style video game, almost only not as old and ready to just give up. He's like still into it. There was a scene where he was in the market and he kicked one of the bad guys into the like fruit stand or the fruit crates and they all go everywhere. I mean, it's just, he's like moving and ready. And I think, and the next point, and I'll get to it, Sabretooth, I think, it was almost a modified Sabretooth. I'm not sure who it was. I'm not too familiar with Wolverine villains. But I think that was Sabretooth. I think it makes the most sense. But we saw him, and whoever the villain was that has him down, if it's not Sabretooth, please let me know who it is, because I could be so wrong, but I think it's Sabretooth, but puts him down, and that's like a cool scene. So we see stuff like that, and then we also see a Sentinel right at the end. It's like standing up almost, and Wolverine's ready to fight it. And, which I didn't think she was going to be in the game, but Mystique, we saw her change form. I forgot what she was before, but change form. And then, the scenes with her were just as gory too. I think she stabbed somebody in the head or under, like right over here. It was either here or here. or something else. But I think it was one of these two places. And I mean, overall, just the gameplay looks really good. I'm excited to see a full trailer. This was about 1:45. I'm excited to see at least a 2:30 trailer to kind of see more of the specific, how he got there, what he's doing, what's actually going wrong. One thing that I love, which we saw in a picture a few years ago, we got Logan with the cowboy hat walking into a bar. You know when that happens, shit's about to go down in that bar. It's kind of like in Punisher Season 2 when he walks into the bar and he just starts opening fire on a bunch of people. Like, you know something's going to go down. So I cannot wait. The final question is, will it overtake Spider-Man PS4? I'm not too sure. I think that there's going to be a lot of good things that come out of this game, and I think it's going to hit a lot of the same audiences. But I think the one reason that it could do better is it's going to get a lot of older people playing. It's going to get people who, because you know, of the blood, of the gore, there will be parents who are like, no, we don't want our kids to play this. So it'll take the Spider-Man fans, the younger Spider-Man PS4, PS5 fans who have played this game, and if they're like that, they won't. I personally think it'll be a better game. I think it'll be better gameplay. I don't think it'll have a better story. I think Spider-Man 1, the game, is one of the best superhero stories in a game. I think that there's a lot of good things that's going to come out of this Wolverine game, and I think because of how good Insomniac did with the Spider-Man games, I think that you're going to get a lot more people who are going to come to this game. So sales, I think so. I think it's going to get a lot more people buying. I think it's going to be a big hit money making wise. The game itself, like I said, I think gameplay and combat and all the different nitty-gritty stuff within the game is going to be far better than Spider-Man. But I don't think that the story is going to be much better. But I could be wrong. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited to see more gameplay, more trailer, more story footage. I'm really excited for this game. I've been waiting for it for a long time. And yeah, you know, it's gonna do a lot of good for future Marvel Insomniac games, but it has to be good. That's the biggest thing. It has to be good. But within Insomniac's record with superhero genres on the PlayStation, it looks like it's going to be really good. So yeah, with that, that's the end of today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, share, comment, sub, whatever you could do to support the channel. We want to make sure that this channel grows amazingly, just to reach more people. I've just told one of my friends that I do this not because I want the views, I want the likes, I just love talking about this type of stuff, movies, TV, and I love games, and I want to talk more about games, and that's why I brought up the Wolverine trailer, and I want to go more into it, not just because it's Marvel. I want to get a little more involved with games, but really Hollywood as an industry, as a business, movies, the movies that are made. I want to get more into it, and I want to get more people as excited as I am to talk about these things. So please let's reach as many people as we can so they could be involved, because I love what I do, and I love entertaining people, and I love talking about this type of stuff. So like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, turn notifications on, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.